Jackrabbit? The weather's turned off real nice, ain't it? Mighty fine clover out there on the lawn if you want to fatten up. I mean, if you're hungry.
You can almost smell the coffee on the Clampett porch and hear the screen door creak before the theme begins. The Beverly Hillbillies, 1962-1971, was a tall tale told with a gentle smile. Oil from a swampy pond. A broken-down truck pointed toward a city of marble and mirrors. And a family that never forgot who they were. Jed's steady wisdom. Granny's iron-skillet justice. Ellie Mae's menagerie and pure heart. And poor Mr. Drysdale, forever chasing dollars while the Clampetts quietly chased kindness. It was country humor with a city glow. Sweet, surprising, and stubbornly human. Fact number 1. A fish out of water, born in the Ozarks. Long before the Clampetts rolled into Bel-Air, Paul Henning was camping in the Ozarks, listening to porch talk and slow rivers. Those trips stayed with him. He began to imagine a fairy tale played as farce. What if a family with front porch values suddenly landed in a marble palace and never lost their goodness? In 1962, he wrote it down, naming it the Beverly Hillbillies. He didn't hand it off to others either. Henning wrote or co-wrote hundreds of episodes, shaping the show's gentle rhythm himself. The core never changed. Let the joke be big, but the people be kind. And just as he framed the story, he chose the sound of it too. Bluegrass in prime time, a banjo announcing a new American myth. Next, we'll open that songbook and see how a TV theme climbed the charts. Fact number 2, a theme song that put bluegrass at number 1. Before the Clampetts ever reached Bel-Air, their story already had a hit. Paul Henning wrote The Ballad of Jed Clampett, cut with Lester Flatt and Earl Scruggs, while session singer Jerry Scoggins handled the TV vocals. Released as a single, it did something bluegrass had never done. It topped the Billboard country chart in January 1963, spending weeks there and even crossing to the Hot 100. A Porch Tale became a national anthem. Banjo rolls between verses worked like a curtain rising, inviting audiences to tap a foot, smile, and settle in. The song made the show feel like folklore, half news bulletin, half campfire tune, and it carried the Clampetts into living rooms long before the first joke landed. Next, we'll step off the truck and into that marble palace the world knows so well. Fact number 3, a real Bel-Air palace, and a soundstage cement pond. The Clampetts' marble paradise was real, at least from the curb. Exterior shots were filmed at the Kirkby Mansion, 750 Bel-Air Road, a stately estate whose gates and sweeping drive became TV's most famous address. The interiors, though, lived on a soundstage, where art directors built echoing halls, a grand stair, and that beloved cement pond. The contrast was perfect. Real Los Angeles grandeur outside. Carefully tuned comedy inside, neighbors in Bel-Air grumbled about gawkers. The production kept its visits brisk, borrowing the house's face while protecting its quiet. On screen, the place never swallowed the people. Jed's hat still hung easy. Granny still ordered the world around with a skillet, and Ellie Mae's critters felt at home under chandeliers. A mansion became a mirror, reflecting back what money can't buy. Fact number 4, a rating stampede no one predicted. Critics sniffed. Viewers stampeded. Within months of its September 1962 debut, the Beverly Hillbillies shot to the very top of American television and stayed there. In its first full season, 1962-63, it finished number 1 in the Nielsen ratings, beating prestige dramas and long-running favorites. The following year, 1963-64, it held the crown again, proof that the Clampetts' porch warmth and fish-out-of-water wonder had become a national ritual. Advertisers followed. CBS rearranged schedules around it. What some dismissed as a hillbilly fable turned out to be rocket fuel, carrying rural humor into prime time with metropolitan force. And just ahead, a single episode would push the frenzy to its peak, an unlikely record that still turns heads today. Fact number 5, the night a Jackrabbit broke TV records. January 8th, 1964. Granny swore she'd seen a giant jackrabbit on the lawn. The truth? A loose kangaroo. The joke played like a folktale told under studio lights, and America stopped to watch. The Giant Jackrabbit, Season 2, Episode 16, didn't just win its week. It set a record. It became the most watched telecast up to that point, and is still cited as the most watched half-hour sitcom episode on record. Viewers tuned in for Irene Ryan's steel-spined belief and Buddy Ebsen's gentle patience, and they stayed for the slow, rolling laughter of a country story unfolding in a city mansion. No wedding, no finale, just pure situation comedy, perfectly timed. The Clampetts didn't chase event television. They were the event. And while the audience roared, something else was happening behind the scenes. A casting choice that almost went another way. Fact number 6, the granny who almost wasn't. Paul Henning first pictured his sharp-tongued matriarch as small and wiry. His longtime collaborator, Bernadette, begged to read for Granny anyway. Henning loved her, but felt she looked too robust for the little spitfire in his head. Then Irene Ryan walked in and cracked the room wide open. Bernadette didn't sulk. She smiled and said, "There's your Granny." Henning created Cousin Pearl for her. Pearl's meddling charm became a perfect counter-melody to Granny's fiddle saw. And Henning wasn't done saying thank you. The very next year, he built Petticoat Junction around Bernadette, finally giving her the starring role she'd earned over decades. That's the show's secret in a nutshell. Loyalty behind the laughter. From one gracious audition came a whole TV universe. Fact number 7, Jethro and Jethrine, one actor, 2 Bodines. Max Baer Jr. didn't just bring the eager, wide-eyed Jethro to life. He also slipped into a dress and became Jethrine Bodine, Jethro's towering sister. The sight gag was irresistible. Same grin, same granite innocence, a ribbon on top. Baer played the body. The voice belonged to Linda Kay Henning, Paul Henning's daughter, giving Jethrine a sweet, sing-song drawl that turned every entrance into a parade. It worked because the show never mocked its people. It delighted in them. Jethro wasn't a punchline. He was a child chasing big city arithmetic and double-knot spy dreams. Jethrine wasn't cruelty. She was vaudeville joy in a hill country frame. One actor, 2 Bodines, and a reminder of the series' stage roots. Broad, playful, and generous. Fact number 8, the rural purge and a city that looked away. For most of the 60s, the Clampetts ruled. But by 1970-71, CBS executives chased a new image. Urban, topical, sophisticated. In what writers later dubbed the rural purge, the network swept away country-leaning hits in a single hard pivot. The Beverly Hillbillies, Green Acres, and even Hee Haw were shown the door. The Clampetts still drew crowds, but not the demographics CBS wanted. It felt like a party turning off the porch light while the band still played. Paul Henning's kind-hearted folktale had brought millions together. Now the mood in television was changing. Faster edits, glossier problems, fewer possum suppers. The show didn't stumble to an end. It was pushed aside by fashion. And yet, the laughter it left behind didn't age. It mellowed like a banjo left in the sun. Fact number 9. After the mansion, stage lights, campaign signs, and a detective's hat. The warmth didn't stop at the Bel-Air gates. Irene Ryan took Granny's crackling energy to Broadway in 1972's Pippin, belting No Time at All and earning a Tony nomination late in life, a performer's victory lap that proved her fire was real. Buddy Ebsen traded Jed's hat for a detective's in Barnaby Jones, 1973-80, carrying the same gentle decency into a new kind of weekly ritual. And Nancy Culp, Miss Jane Hathaway, stepped off the soundstage and onto a very different stage, running for U.S. Congress, 1984, back in Pennsylvania. Agree or disagree with her politics, the through line was unmistakable. This cast treated success as a platform to keep doing, keep giving, keep showing up. The Clampetts taught America to laugh kindly. The actors kept the lesson going in the world beyond the cement pond. Fact number 10. One porch, 3 towns, the Henningverse. Paul Henning didn't just create a hit. He stitched together a whole TV country. The Beverly Hillbillies, Petticoat Junction. And Green Acres shared a universe where trains ran to Hooterville, bankers fretted in both cities and small towns, and guest stars wandered freely between porch and palace. Characters crossed over, songs reappeared, and the jokes felt like neighbors waving across a fence line. Even Flatt and Scruggs showed up on screen, turning the series into a bluegrass showcase that sent record buyers to the bins. In syndication, that shared world kept breathing. Stations could program marathons that felt like one long, warm story about American oddity and grace. The legacy wasn't just ratings. It was a feeling of connectedness, a homemade map of places you could visit whenever life needed a simpler laugh. The porch is quiet now, the truck parked, the banjo fading to a smile. But somewhere, Granny's skillet still rings true, and Jed's good sense lights the way. When the city feels too loud, we can always go home to that marble mansion on a country heart.